What's up, Super Fiends? Today we have a deck profile, and it's going to be a little bit different. This is a theory crafted deck, so there's not a whole lot of playtest done with it, and it is under the all symbol, which is one of the underplayed symbols. And the reason why it's underplayed is because there's not a whole lot of support for it, and there's not much difference between the all symbol and the good symbol, except that the good symbol has more cards, and generally you want to do the good symbol because of that. That being said, we did build an all deck, and I do think it's functional, and there's some really neat tech in here. So without further ado, we have the All Might combo deck. And starting with our attack lineup, we do have our first combo attack, that is Create Capturing Net. This attack is very well statted as a 2/4 low attack. The low is the least block zone in My Hero Academia, and then you also have the 2 high block, which is the best block you could pretty much have in the meta. Then you also have the combo enhance, which allows it to gain stun 2, which can be really good to put your opponent into a corner. You can also build a foundation from your card pool face up. So what you're doing is you are having a foundation on the same turn that you play Capturing Net, and then you can build it down immediately and then continue your turn while playing more attacks and having access to that new foundation that you just built using Capturing Net's enhance. Next we play 4 copies of Expert Flurry. I would love to see this card play more, because it is a really solid attack. It's statted very nicely, has the 2 high block, and then also it's guaranteed to give you +2 damage to your next attack, and it's also a combo, and it only combos off of attack. So really easy combo requirement, and then also it is a combo attack that goes into Binding Call Capture. I would love to see more play on this card, and I'm hoping that this card can do very well with this deck. What's nice about this is it's a combo for cards that are combos, and if you combo enhance, if you have played an action this turn, your rival discards a card, and it also has a static where if you played an action card this turn, then you can give this attack -2 difficulty, which is a 3 diff, and it really turns this card into something kind of like Card and Chop, where you're making your opponent discard, and you also have the ability to seal one rival foundation. With All Might, one of our weaknesses is speed, because we're able to give like a lot of damage to our attacks, but our opponent's probably going to be able to block most of our stuff. But the thing is that we have a mix-up game, because we have low attacks, high attacks, and we even also have mid attacks. So because of that, I think that we're going to be pretty solid without the lack of speed. Next up, we have 4 copies of Texas Smash, and I think this card is okay in the deck even though we don't have a lot of punches. And the reason being is because with All Might, we can pump this up to a 4 high for 5 damage. And then also you can discard 1 card to give your next attack this turn +4 damage. That's pretty much everything here, and giving 4 damage to any of these attacks is going to be pretty devastating on top of the damage that we already get from All Might. Next we have 2 copies of Detroit Smash, and this is another card I want to see played more, and the reason being is because it's a really good finisher, has high speed, but the reason why we don't see this a whole lot is because of the 2 check, and that, you know, there's a lot of other stuff that probably be played more efficiently, and this card has some good synergy with All Might too. And the reason why it has good synergy is because you can discard 1 momentum, add 3 cards from your hand to your momentum, and what you do with that momentum is you can use that to discard 1 momentum on the character card, draw 1 card, and then if this attack is not blocked, you draw an additional card. So there's this risk and reward thing. You're paying 1 momentum and 3 cards from your hand, but if you have extra attacks and you play the attack, you draw, you're essentially filtering, and then also if they don't block, then you're getting an additional card just for doing this type of loop. And the last enhance on Detroit Smash is All Might Enhance. Permanently reduce your character's hand size by 1, draw 3 cards. So this could be really good to put some really big chip into your opponent, but also draw you into more gaff. For our actions, because we do want to see them for Blinding Cloth Capture and some other tech in our deck, we play 4 copies of Erase and 2 copies of Capture Evildoers. We didn't opt in to put in any Puck Ultras into this deck just yet, and the reason being is because in early game you're not going to really have momentum, so you want to have cards that can activate at a moment's notice. And we have Capture Evildoers in here, and it's important to note that you do not need your opponent to have a rival momentum to activate the ability on this. The effects will resolve as much as possible, and the effects that, you know, aren't relevant, they're going to fizzle out, but you still get to play the action. It's going to remove itself, and then Blinding Cloth Capture will become active. So really nice tool here. That's why we only play 2, so in the mid to late game we can use it to steal momentum. But we do play 4 copies of Erase. Using Erase, we can use it to seal rival asset or foundation, so this way it can get our card active. But additionally, you don't always have to play an action. I think that Blinding Cloth Capture is the only card in our deck that requires an action to be played to get full value. So if you need to block with the action, just do that instead, because that's probably what you'll want to do. You definitely don't want to, you know, early game play Erase and then Blinding Cloth Capture. Probably better to just wait for, it's more of a mid to late game play. Next, we do play 4 copies of Nightwatch, which is what I think sells the deck to be played on the alt symbol, because by having all these action cards in your deck, you can use it to where you have Nightwatch on the field, and your opponent is going to have to work around the Nightwatch, and it's going to make them harder to get to their end goal and beating you in the game, because whatever they do, they have to account that their best enhance for that turn is going to get canceled out. And Nightwatch works really well with All Might, because every single attack we play, we're going to be able to discard the top 4 cards of our own deck, and eventually that's going to hit one of our actions. So getting Nightwatch active is going to be very easy with this All Might character. So I'm really excited to test this out in an actual game, because I don't think that there is an All Might like this, and it's just a really cool way that we can see this type of engine into All Might. Next, we play 4 copies of Specials of Sound. This is our Speed Hate, really solid card. Next, we play Start with the Basics. Now, I didn't even realize this card was a thing, and it says Enhance Commit, your weapon attack gets +1 speed and +2 damage. One of the things that I thought Staff Strike decks had a problem with was getting more damage, but then someone showed me that this is a card, and I was like, yo, this is kind of like Harden, because you get the +2 damage, but you also get a bonus speed. So that being said, we have 12 different attacks that are weapon attacks, and just playing this card in case we need the extra damage output is really nice. So I do like seeing this card in weapon deck. I think they are worth the play. For our spams, we now have 2 Celebrity Status. This allows us to use with All Might. If we have 2 momentum, we can stack one of the momentum that we know what it is, and then we can discard the other momentum to draw that card. So this allows us to have an engine where we stack the card on our deck, and then we get to guarantee a draw. Really good for selective picking. Now we play 4 copies of Mediator. This card works really well with decks that play action cards, and you don't even have to play the action card as an enhance. For Mediator, usually you're playing the action card as a block. So this will allow you to -3 speed something, and then also guarantee that extra draw card. But you know, if you don't need the draw card, you can also just pop it -3 speed. Next, we play 4 copies of Destined for Mainstream Success. This is a really good card to draw us extra cards, guarantee what's on top of our deck, and it's just statted very nicely. And the last bit of our foundations is we play 4 copies of It Can't Be Fixed. We're really playing this because it's a 0 diff. Block mod is really good, and the ability's like whatever. The ability will come relevant, but it's really just the 0 diff that allows us to guarantee our curve on turn 1 is the reason why we play it. So if there's ever a deck that I build, I always make sure to play whatever 0 difficulty foundations I can find. And that's the deck. This is, again, all theory, and I would highly recommend, you know, if you're going to build this, just understand that it's at your own risk. So thanks for watching the video and the deck profile. Please let me know what you think in the comments. If you're new to the channel, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.